Hey guys, and welcome back for another video. Today we're going to be covering the retrospective runaround jumping puzzle for another mastery point. This jumping puzzle can be pretty time consuming, so make sure you've set aside some time, as well as get yourself in the mood to kind of go on an adventure before doing this one. If you're one of those people out there that doesn't really enjoy jumping puzzles, this one doesn't really contain difficult jumps as much as it is a puzzle. There will be several points where it's not clear if you're going the right way, and that's why I made this guide. The puzzle truly starts at the Dry Dock Grotto waypoint, but you might not even have that waypoint if you haven't fully explored the Silver Wastes. So first, I'd like to talk about how to get to that waypoint. So one of the easiest waypoints to grab in the Silver Wastes is the Camp Resolve waypoint, so let's go ahead and start there. From the waypoint, head north and take the northwest path out of Camp Resolve. From here, we're basically just going to wrap around the side of this rocky area until we can start heading east again. Go all the way to the back wall, and then head north again through the small opening where you'll either find a bunch of Scrit or a bunch of bandits. If you see Scrit, that's a good indication that the event that takes place here is over and the path ahead is unblocked. Now if you see bandits, that just means you're going to have to take care of the event here before you can progress. Taking out all the bandits will spawn a second event where you'll just need to take out Kendra the Strident. In the small alcove where you just entered or have been doing an event, you should see a small tunnel heading underground. This is the part that's going to be blocked unless the event is completed first. Head down this small tunnel and then start heading west again. By now you should be able to see the waypoint on your map, so just glide or walk down until you see a pair of Scrit next to a waypoint. Now that we finally got the waypoint at the beginning of the puzzle, we can get started. Next to the waypoint, you should see a ship wreckage with a bridge connecting it to the land that you're standing on. Head all the way down this bridge until just before you enter the ship, and there will be a ramp on the left side. Once on top of the ship, you should see a wooden structure at the southmost end of the ship. Use that to jump onto the rocky staircase and start moving along the rock formation. Right away you should see Velocity Elixir, or this metal contraption that looks like it's pouring lava water on the ground. Standing under one of these will give you a swiftness boost, which is nice considering how long this jumping puzzle is, and they are scattered throughout the entire puzzle. Just beyond that, a red flag should pop out with a Scrit, and this is your first milestone. There are 9 in total, and you'll need all of these to complete the puzzle, but also getting each one of these means that if you die, you'll be resurrected at the last milestone. Ahead, jump up on some rocks and use the piece of wood to get to the other side, and just keep heading to the back of the room. Eventually, you'll see your second Velocity Elixir, and be sure to cut a hard left at the entrance to that room, squeezing past a few of the boulders. Make your way through the rocks, and eventually you're going to be on a ledge. Rather than jumping down, be sure to jump forward to the ledge right in front of you. Continue on this ledge, following it all the way until it nearly dead ends, and then jump down onto the big rock. From here, you should be able to see the third Velocity Elixir, and that's where we're headed. Now it's at this point that it's pretty easy to start getting lost. You can explore this entire region without realizing where you're supposed to go. So, from that Velocity Elixir, be sure to head up the rocky ramp structure just to the right of it. From here, it's just a matter of using rocks and other things to gain altitude. As long as you're always trying to head up, it should be pretty easy to see where you need to go. There are 1 or 2 trickier jumps, but it's not really all that bad. Once you make it to the top, head north, and you'll see a bunch of rocks. You'll just need to jump up those as well to climb just a bit further out of the hole that you've been in. You should now be standing on top of some of these giant rocky formations you see in the Silver Wastes, and you can start heading towards the big rock. The idea here is not to climb the rock, but rather just climb around it until we see a bridge to cross. Once across the bridge, be sure to keep heading north until you see another Velocity Elixir. Be sure to grab the speed boost and start making your way down the rocky formations until you make it back into the jumping puzzle. Now don't just head all the way to the ground level, be sure to end up on one of the pillar platforms in a row so you can start jumping across the tops of those. These will carry on for a little while, but eventually dead end, at which point you should see another velocity elixir, and from the last platform, jump towards that. It's here that yet again we're going to start trying to gain altitude to get back out of the puzzle so that we can reposition ourselves again. So just keep using the rocky structures that pretty clearly indicate where you can stand, and you should be able to make your way back to the surface again. Once you've made it all the way to the top, just head towards the next velocity elixir. From there, head southwest until you see a rocky land bridge and another velocity elixir, and just keep taking the path around until eventually it opens up again and you can start heading down. Inside this rocky room, you should eventually see a rocky tube that's on a platform just below where you're at, and we'll need to head there. From this platform, we're going to need to find some rocky ledges to land on, and eventually make our way down to yet another velocity elixir. Take the path that has a giant rock you'll have to walk underneath, and take it until it kind of corners off. You'll know you're there because there'll be a chest in a little cove. Just below the chest, you should see a wooden platform. Usually when I try and make a jump for the chest, I end up falling directly on that wooden platform, and that's where you need to be. Head down a few more rocky platforms until you see another velocity elixir, and then take the narrow path until you start seeing some more wooden platforms. Use these platforms as well as some rock ridges to work your way over until you're just above a landmass that's below you with a velocity elixir on it. Gliding can help out immensely here, but even if you don't have gliding, you're not going to die by making this jump. We'll need to use this platform to make our way to the back of this room, so head underneath the two rocky formations and continue along the same path until you see a wooden fence. At the fence, take a right, and then head along the outstretched rocky feature, avoid a small gap to continue moving along this feature, and then just stick to the outer ridge and work your way around the room. Eventually, you will see a splendid chest that you can open without ruining the jumping puzzle, don't worry. And from the chest, you should be able to start working your way back down. After you hit a platform with a milestone on it, you should be able to jump down to another velocity elixir. Now it's just a matter of heading down this same path, hugging ridges whenever it gets very thin, and using boulders to jump up on top of other rocks, and just making your way, never falling down, to the very end of the last sandy platform. If you happen to get stuck or confused about whether or not you could head somewhere, just watch along and you should be able to see where to go. Once you've made it to the end of the last sandy platform, the puzzle starts to change a little bit. You're going to see a Scrit hole that you can actually use on a platform just in front of you. On the other side, use the wooden platforms until those run out, and then use the rocks to move your way back down. At the back of the small area you're in, you should see a Scrit hole and take it. From here, use the wooden planks and rocks to make your way towards another set of wooden platforms. On the second wooden platform, you're going to see another Scrit hole, but don't take that one. Keep heading down just a little bit further, and where some rocks come together, you should see another Scrit hole, and take that one. Now the path should take you to a set of wooden planks, and on the second plank, there'll be a Scrit hole in a little cove. Here you'll find another velocity elixir you can use for a quick speed boost to jump up the ridge and then onto some wooden platforms. At the last wooden plank, you should turn around immediately as you can keep climbing higher. At the top, there will be yet another Scrit hole, and you should take that one. From here, just use the series of wooden platforms until they eventually stop, make one decent sized jump, and you should see another Scrit tunnel you can take. On the other side, you're going to need to head around the ridge, up the wooden plank, and follow that ridge until it dead ends. From here, you need to drop down and you'll see another Scrit tunnel, but this isn't the Scrit tunnel we need, so we need to jump down one more time and take that Scrit tunnel. Head down your only available path until you see 3 wooden planks, and on the leftmost plank you will see another tunnel, and you should take that one. Here we only have a small area with just another tunnel that you can take. On the other side here, it's going to be more of the same, just follow the ridge around, but this time we're actually going to avoid several of these Scrit tunnels, so pay attention. Okay, so as you head down the path, you're going to see a Scrit tunnel right away, and we're avoiding that one. Just continue up the ridge. Eventually, you're going to see a plank of wood with another Scrit tunnel, and we're avoiding that one as well. Then, just a bit further down, it'll dead end, and you'll see another Scrit tunnel, but here we're actually dropping down, and you should see a set of 3 Scrit tunnels. Make sure you're looking at these tunnels the same way I am, and take the rightmost tunnel. From here, there isn't much of a path, so just work your way to the other Scrit tunnel, avoiding it, and then standing on the small piece of wood next to it, and taking the Scrit tunnel that is just below that piece of wood. And here, guys, we're basically done, but there's just a little bit more we have to do. We're going to be taking the stone ridges and stone steps all the way back until they open up into a room. None of this is all that difficult, but I would say just be mindful of where you're standing and jumping to so that you don't fall off at the very end. Once this does open up into a room, you should see a chest, but don't get too excited because you can't just open it right away. Next to the chest, there should be a small room with 3 Scrit tunnels. You just need to interact with those Scrit tunnels to get the key and open the chest. Once you finally do open the chest, you will have to fight a Scrit burglar, which is a legendary enemy, so be prepared for that. And you'll finally have completed this very long jumping puzzle. And that, guys, is where I'm going to call this one, obviously, because that's where it ends. But I hope you enjoyed this. I know it probably wasn't the most entertaining, but it was a pretty easy mastery point, all things considered. You just need to set aside some time. I decided to make this guide not only because I like to inform you guys on how to get those core tier masteries, but also because it is kind of a pain to try and figure out where to go with all those tunnels. Also, I'd like to personally apologize for calling all of the tunnels holes for a while there. That just sounded weird, so I looked it up and they're actually called Scrit tunnels. Just started calling them tunnels. Anyway, guys, I hope this was helpful for you. I hope somebody out there still struggling to get this one done or wanted a quick and easy core tier and mastery point now has one. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Wait, what?